but I think we will be able to muddle through without her. Tom, thank you so much for being with us. We appreciate your interest, your help. We know what a valued employee you are. Okay. Moving ahead on our agenda, public input. We do have a guest here tonight. Alexis?
Hi, I'm Alexa Larson, and I checked in online a couple months ago. Some of you might remember. And I really appreciate you being hybrid, Zoom and in person, and being so welcoming when I came in. And I had audio problems, and I said I was going to come in person and make a couple announcements. So what I wanted to get to was, I have a couple ideas for programming, and I also have some personal things like in some libraries, there's a resource, there's a personal resource that I need, and I'm reviewing that I'm going to get an email for the board. I might already have it, but I'm going to check again. And I've been corresponding with Tom and adult, library services about a resource that is usually provided in libraries of free copies if it's employment related, and promotionals, including like business cards. They do offer it at Brookfield Library, and I did apply for it, and then I didn't get it. So there was a conflict over there, and I would like to do that here. Okay, and then a couple of years ago during COVID, Tom mentioned that it could use weeding outside. So I did help a little bit with weeding. Okay, and I know that's a park and rec maintenance thing, and I'm going to go to their meeting. I'm going to go to their meeting to see if I can get a kind of a weeding thing going, because I've noticed nobody weeds anywhere, not just here, but they just, well, it's like they don't do windows, they don't weed. So, and you benefit from it. And what I've noticed too, there's a little bit of problems with people leaving garbage, the weeds in the garbage. And you might benefit from a garbage can, like on the patios where the people are sitting. It's very nice out there, and everybody, it's really beautiful. People walk around and, like they get food or whatever. I'm really good about clearing up food and everything and that kind of thing. But I've noticed the kids are leaving like little ice cream things that are getting ants everywhere and stuff like that. And there's natural ways of offsetting that. And there's also, you can put a garbage can there. And I'm interested in some kind of programming that involves sustainability, and it's called sustainable homesteading. And I've corresponded with Tom, and as the weather gets colder, it's going to be more relevant because now I'm outside. But what I'd really like to see is an indoor mobile homesteading area for library patrons where you can eat and kind of prepare some food. Maybe solar refrigeration types of things, low energy with sort of instructional, things for people to learn about this kind of thing. It's not for everybody because you need to be very motor dexterous and coordinated and organized. I'm going to back this up in writing, and I appreciate you being quiet and listening to it. And as I said, when the weather gets colder, it's not too relevant now. And the other thing that I was thinking of that I think Bethel would really like, and you would like, being, the P.T. Barnum Library, and I've noticed that there's a lot of people here that are very theatrical, and you have the Shakespeare Garden, and I went to a program. I like murder mystery a lot, and I was thinking in the fall maybe you could do a murder mystery, very simple, with library staff, as the actors, something to do with history. I also like history a lot, history of Bethel, history of the library, and you don't have to dress up, you don't have to get on stage. You just give a dialogue, and what you do is you give a list of suspects, and then people choose who they think did it, and then you announce the winner that way. It's really simple, and I'll send the idea to Tom and adult programming. And hold on, and I thought I saw it at an alumni reunion, and it was great. And I just thought, oh, that would be really good here at all the libraries. And maybe you could have like a contest too. And the other thing is, yes, with nature programming, I'm a person who, I'm an urban organic specialist. And what I've done is I'm trying to get landscape diversity and environmental stewardship in urban settings to bring nature and wildlife back. I was also thinking garbage cans there and a bird bath to attract birds. Different things you could do with the children, not including the storyboards. I don't want anything to do with the storyboards, but like maybe making bird houses, beneficial insect houses. You probably have done it before. It was big in the 70s. And I will back this up again with an email to explain things and outline it. And I know you've already had this too, but Tom said he hasn't in a long time done a program that was for like resume writing workshop. And what we discussed was you include everything. I got a great free download off of Google Play, and I can't stop using it, and I'm getting addicted to it, and it's a problem. But it's like it's a desktop publisher, so I can do all of that myself on my own system, and then just print the things out that I need. Like I need brochures, I need business cards, and I also have to go on social media and create things. I can also do cards that I send people, and you could do a big all-in-one, promotional resume plus everything, small business, navigating through Google Play or using your system, and a promotional item that you can make with 3D graphics. And I told Tom that I could be his demo person, where if he helps me with mine, then he could prepare for a big one where he just educates everybody. Maybe everybody knows about this, I don't know, but I know that those things are very helpful, and the library always has one. So anyway, I will be, I think that's it. I think that's all I have here, but I will be backing up what I've said, with an email that outlines the things that I've wanted to see here. And now you have an example of somebody who comes to the library fairly often and has certain things that they'd like to see at the library that I could benefit from. So that's why I'm coming to your meeting, and I've gone to many meetings in all the towns, and I need all the towns because I go around, because I work with mobile disabled people in healthcare, and they're in all different towns, and I don't know where I'm going to be. And this is actually a small area, and there's more things I have to talk about with computer crime and problems, but don't feel bad because everybody has them. So it's not you, it follows me places too, and I've heard that I'm disliked here because something comes with me and I'm not in agreement with it. But yeah, and I'm not saying it's you either. So I will be showing up. This is my outline of what I wanted to tell everybody, and then I'm going to back it up with emails, and I'm going to be showing up continuously to meetings to reinforce these things, to see some of them happening, and maybe we'll have more people that will benefit. I am a victim, so I need the mobile homesteading, and for different reasons, and nobody's arguing with me, so it's kind of good. And like I said, we don't need it right now, more when the weather gets colder. So thanks.
Alexis, thank you. Thank you for taking the time to come to our meetings. Our meetings are always open to the public. We welcome any kind of public input. I would just like to remind you that our programming goes through our staff. I know you've been dealing with Tom, but that is the format. The board supports the programs. We're aware of the programs, but we have excellent staff and they make good decisions. And also our grounds are taken care of by Park and Rec. So we really don't have a say, and we really do not encourage individuals to do any kind of work out there because it is not our responsibility, it is their responsibility. Just so we understand that.
Okay, is there any contact for staff, like a general, is it just
For
adults?
Park and Rec?
No, I know how to get to that,
Okay.
but staff.
No, it would go through Park and Rec because we go through Eileen Earl, she's the director,
Okay,
and that's probably who you need to talk to.
they're probably off in July, but I'll find them. Eileen Earl, okay.
Yes. Okay, so we thank you very much, and you're welcome to stay for the rest of our meeting, and we look forward to you coming back if you so desire.
Mary, can she spell her last name?
LARSEN.
And A Lexa.
Right,
Okay, thank you.
thanks.
Thank you, Alexa. Thanks. Okay, moving on with our agenda, we have correspondence and announcements. I don't have any. Does anyone have anything?
I just wanted to let people know I received 2 different notifications about people who passed and left us in their legacy. So we're working our way through that. I don't want to talk too much about it because we don't really know how much it's going to be or how it's all going to work its way out. But we are seeing more and more people leaving us in their estate planning. So that's a nice thing. And I hope to be able to update you all this next time.
That's good news. Santi.
It
Thank
is
you.
good.
Yes,
It
yes.
does take a long time.
And as board members, we should encourage other people to remember us in their wills. Okay, moving on, the minutes from May 23rd. I would like the motion to approve the minutes.
I'll make the motion.
Robin, a second?
Second.
John. I did notice one correction under the finance committee report, I think, where it says ask for a motion, it should say for a recommendation rather than to for a recommendation. Yeah, so it's really just.
Wait, repeat that again?
Under finance committee
Yep.
report.
Yep.
Tim Murphy asked for a motion for
Yeah.
a recommendation.
For a, and it's not supposed to be
It
for a.
says two for a.
Oh,
Just
just
take
take
out
out the 2.
Yeah.
I gotcha, okay.
Okay. Any other corrections, changes? All in favor of accepting the minutes from the May 23rd meeting, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained?
Abstain, I wasn't here.
Terry, Rebecca? How were you here?
Mhm.
Oh, okay. That's-
Sorry.
Yeah.
There was a meeting before he was.
Yeah, it was.
Thank you. Treasurer's report, Tia?
Okay, if you notice from the treasurer's report, I hope everybody had an opportunity to see it. Couple of things of note, both in the library operations and grant fund, there was no activity this month because we've been writing tons of checks. So things are starting to come in. We've ordered many things. Things are starting to come in. We're paying for them. So you will see, fingers crossed, if they get, sometimes when you're paying a large company, it sits for a little while. But hopefully, you'll see a lot of activity both in operations and in grant funding. So we have been very busy, right, Ms. Berry?
We have. We spent a lot of money at those checks clearing.
In the director's account, the only thing that we had there was for our mini golf snack bar items for the second day. So that was that. Any questions?
Well,
Yes, ma'am.
I was looking at last year compared to,
Excuse me, we're doing treasurers.
this isn't treasure.
No,
No,
budget.
Yeah, I had one, and I think
Yes,
it's just clarification. When I looked at the May report versus the June report, the encumbered money for the mini golf, the figures were different. One was 2008 93.92, and the other was 2008 30.97. Just wondering. Is it a typo? Because the balance is the same.
I'll look it up.
Okay, I think it just might be. 'Cause the balance was the same as the month before, but the number was different.
Okay, I'll take a look at that. Anyone else? Yeah, I don't. Yeah. Okay, can I get a motion to accept the treasurer's report?
make a motion to accept.
Thank you, John.
I'll second it.
Okay. Any further questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you.
Central Library report, Jan.
Well, we have been very busy. I was gone and Diane ended up doing all the work for two of us.
That's smart on you.
It was lovely. She has managed, she met with Rick Waller. We have new signage for the bookseller. And we are so grateful to Rick. He went above and beyond, as he generally tends to do. And we're going to continue, going to him because the signage is much clearer. I think it's attractive. And I think that hopefully we've had some good comments on it, and it will enable people to find the bookseller much more easily, which is a huge thing for us. We're going to be participating in the July 16th Chamber of Commerce sidewalk sales. The plan right now is to sell our CDs for like really cheap, 50 cents, and have a surprise. That's all I'm going to say. You'll have to tune in on July 16th to see the surprise. And John has very graciously offered to help get some teenagers
Manual
to.
labor.
Yeah, manual labor is, and teens are really good for that. We really appreciate them. And that's pretty much where we are. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you for all your help and all of the support accepting our new grant. And
Oh, yes.
we're very excited and we're, very happy that friends support us.
And
Did that
Megan
get
just,
approved, by the way, the AT&T grant?
she just
The last
submitted,
time it said it was applied. Okay, good.
Megan just submitted all the paperwork for that.
Great, thank you. Thank you.
Any questions of Jan?
If anybody wants to volunteer for the sale, do let me know. We will take all volunteers.
What is the date?
It's the 16th, it's a Saturday. Yeah, I think it's 10 to 4.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you'll be out on the lawn.
Well, I think we're gonna try to be out in, by the sidewalk, on the sidewalk,
Okay.
because I think it'll be easier for setup and your end at the end.
I think it'll also get more traffic.
I think so too.
Yeah. We want to be near the library.
And the closer we are to the sidewalk, there's a good chance that people will just kind of step.
Yeah.
And I have a new sign too.
And we've got the tables there
Yeah,
too, so
Exactly.
people will be able to. Yeah.
exactly. Good. So the surprise.
Okay, and I can tell you the pressure is on me tonight because Chris just punched me in the arm and said last month's meeting was too long. So, as you know, Megan is on vacation. I've already told you that. I need to report to you that she was very appreciative of us giving her the extra week's vacation. She was excited, and I told her how much, it was unanimous from all of us, how much we appreciate what she does. So she's using last week and this week, and she'll be back running next week. We do have a report, if you had it. Tom, can you bring it up? We have filled the new position with Ellen Jampol, and she'll be starting July 11th. I think everybody is pleased. Tom, were you part of that interview
Yeah.
process? And
I think she's a great candidate, and I called her references, and the references spoke very highly of her, and said very nice things. And we're very excited to bring her on. She's got a lot of experience from both Westport Library and New Haven Library, as well as a few others. So talking very well about some of the programs that she's done in the past, and we're excited to bring someone in.
I think she'll be a good fit, and it's also exciting that we were able to fill it so quickly.
Yeah.
Where should live, Mary?
Salisbury?
Simsbury?
Simsbury? Somewhere upstate.
Yeah. Yeah, it's actually a pretty
Seems to think
extensive
she does fine
background.
commuting. Yeah.
in library, plus the state library level too.
Yes.
Great.
And then that's the plus side. On the minus side, Patrick has given his notice. I think we've all enjoyed him on the circulation desk. He was a joy to work with. But he's going to be moving to Maine. So hopefully we fill that position quickly also. The school visits have gone with no problems. We were our staff was short, so our staff again stepped up to the plate, and 46 visits were made from kindergarten to 4th grade, and we're off and running for the summer. The AT&T grant, the paperwork's been submitted, and hopefully we're off and running up with that. The summer reading program kicks off, and it looks like a very busy summer for us. The staff completed the team customer service training, which I think went well. The facilitator was highly recommended. And
Yeah,
well
she's
received.
Yeah, she's a former director of the Westport Library, as well as just been in Connecticut libraries for decades. She's done talks on numerous different things. She came and gave a nice talk to the staff, and a lot that we've got to now work on and follow through with, and do some other trainings to build upon what we discussed. And
It's my understanding it was well received and
yeah,
we should do
exactly.
more of that, I think. I think it was a good move on Megan's part. Any questions on Megan's report?
I think that I was at the tie-dye briefly, but Tom did a great job in Helen. It was windy, it was blowing all over the place, but they managed to get all the ink on and stuff, so they did a phenomenal job out in the parking lot on a very windy day. But you had a lot of people.
109.
Pretty amazing, huh?
She loved it.
Yeah, it was
One
a
of my
great program.
employees went
Oh, really?
with her kids and she loved it. We should do that.
And Tom was squirting ink all over the place too. He did a good job.
Yeah, it's a fun time. We had team volunteers this time. They were very helpful. And then myself and 2 other staff members got a bunch of shirts tie-dyed. A few people have come in wearing them. I've seen some pictures of some of them. It's just, that's the really heartwarming part. Some people bring what they made back and you get to see it, and the kids just have a good time and all. The adults too. You know, we had a number of adults who just came and tie-dyed some shirts or coat bags and other garments and what have you. So, yeah, it was excellent.
That's fantastic. And we have some wonderful summer programs planned also.
Yeah, we've got a lot of great programs coming up, not only in adult, but also in children, a whole slew of children's programs. When we did the talks at the schools, we got them really excited, and a number of kids have come in, but you're the one who came to my school. So it's, getting the kids excited about reading, getting them their prizes and their registration packets. We've done our first raffle for adult reading this last Friday. We did the drawing. It was a pair of Lindsay's gift card. So yeah, going very well. Good participation so far, and the kids are really enjoying it. And that's, again, the whole point. They come in to read and they get a little reward for it. So thanks.
Very good. Tom, anything else you'd like to bring before the board?
No, the tours that we did here in the library went very well too. It's nice when, it's great to visit the kids at their home turf, in their school library and get that experience with them. But honestly, them coming to the library is so nice. A lot of the kids get their first library card at that visit, and they, get an opportunity to just see the library. We take them into the Sealy house, we bring them upstairs, and they just get that tour that, so they get a real idea of the library instead of coming in and, just going to the children's department and, picking a book or two. They get to see all over about the history of the building and all. And it's a nice time for them as well. And for that matter, the chaperones always have fun too. So, it's just a good way to reach out to the community, connect with the students, and, hopefully make them lifelong library.
Is that something that happens every grade?
So it's always been second grade in Barry, and we just got first grade from Rockwell this year. In previous years, it's been a little difficult to get them into the schools the last couple of years. But prior to 2020, we always had Barry second grade come, and that was always very nice. Now we restarted with Barry and now with Rockwell, and it's great. You get the kids in here. They're all excited about reading. We either read them a story, and they all want to hear about Mr. Sealy and his ghost and everything like that. And it's just a fun time to tell these stories. So yeah, get them excited about the library.
Any other questions of Tom?
I do have to say, I like a lot of the footprint changes at the library. They're really, really good. listening to patrons, they really enjoy it. I really like having the booths the way they are in the teen area. I think it makes it so much more accessible. Since
Sure,
you
in the
can
middle
go
of the
in
floor,
both
yes,
sides.
yeah.
Yeah, I think that probably also from a flow perspective that helps out too.
Yeah, well, it's been, we've been sort of thinking about how people use the space, watching people use the space, and that sounds a little freaky, but getting them to, understand how they use the space, how they want to use the space, and then creating the space that they clearly want and need, and either getting furniture in for them or using the furniture that we currently have to better facilitate that. We've got some plans for the adult side of the second floor as well to make it a little more conducive. We're finding now, yes, of course, people are still borrowing materials and using the library in traditional ways that they always have, but with the move towards offsite working from home and things like that. Sometimes working from home isn't exactly practical, but coming to a place like the library and either using one of our meeting rooms or just one of our carols around the corner and finding a quiet space where you can still work and sometimes in a little bit more peace than perhaps home might offer. But not everybody has printers and scanners and everything like that, and so we offer that here as well. We did just get a new copier for the second floor. Hopefully that'll be out by middle of next month. There's just a lot of setup that's got to be done to it. So that'll be good because it does color copies now.
And Tom, on the 3D printers and stuff, you're telling target for September?
Oh, yeah, definitely. That shouldn't be a problem. Yeah, so with the team grant, we got in a new 3D printer, a laser engraver, and some other materials as well. But unbox them, figure them all out, learn the software ourselves, and then we'll start doing educational classes with the teens, and the other age groups as well on them to really just get people using these technologies, understanding them, and all the thing about a 3D printer is, it not only is it just neat to be able to print things, but also, learning to work and manipulate objects in a 3D environment is going to be an integral skill for people going forward. If you look at where things are going with virtual reality and stuff like that, we're all used to looking at 2D things, but manipulating a 3D object on a 2D screen, but it is a little tricky, but you do eventually grasp it, and there's some great learning tools out there that we've got. And then being able to just create, anything from a replacement part for cable or whatever it is, or to creating that new thing, or just from little toys. It's a nice thing to be able to provide that to the community and the teens of all ages who can come in and see something like this and see these technologies that honestly will probably be quite common by the time the kids and even the teens are adults in the workforce. 3D printers have become quite ubiquitous in manufacturing and such. So.
Do all the libraries in the area have 3D printers?
Not all of them.
Danbury? Does
Danbury has a huge makerspace attached to it. That's the Danbury Hackerspace. Booth in Newtown has a smaller one in their teen department. I believe it's been a while since I've been over there. I believe Reading has, I know they have a 3D scanner. I remember talking with somebody about it, so they must have a printer as well, but I haven't seen it. I don't think Brookfield has anything. I'm sorry if they do.
I don't think they do.
But it's one of those things that library, once you start doing it, you kind of have to keep going with it. And so Westport has had one for a long time, and they've made it sort of a centerpiece to their library. And other libraries have chosen to focus on other aspects of it, of library and services that we offer.
Well, I mean, I have a stepson who only designs in 3D. So he's the top shoe designer for Champion brands and shoes. So he's up, he visits quite often. All his designs he shows me are done on a 3D mat. All designs have to be put together in 3D or shipped off to be manufactured, but the only way you can design today is in 3D. So it's everything top, the middle, the bottom of the shoe, putting pieces together. It's all 3D. I mean, he's just one example, but he wouldn't have a job if he couldn't do it.
So this is commonplace.
Yeah, very commonplace for any type of industrial design. It's 3D. Thanks. Good shoes.
So Tom, we appreciate you joining us tonight, so thank you for your input. Could you just put the statistics up, because we didn't talk about them in case anyone has any questions?
For June, just over 12,000 visitors to, no. 19.
Is the
calendar
calendar
still
still not accurate? Because that's what.
Yeah,
I think it said.
She had said last month that the calendar was accurate.
Oh, okay.
It was.
I know we started looking into a new one.
Yeah.
Wow, the options out there now, because the one that we've currently got is just an old break beam style, right? So it's just a laser, and every time you walk through, and then you walk out, so we got to divide the number in half, right? New ones now, they've got cameras, they can do all sorts of tracking, analytical stuff. You can get them to sync to, you can download the data, sync it with like weather patterns, and you can say, oh, on rainy days, we're more busy, or and stuff like it. It's really, you know, and you can do it like down to the minute for people entering and everything. So it's really impressive what they've got with different things. And, you know, so you can track the number of people that then go to your second floor, how long individuals are spending. It's impressive, the range that is available now. We could just replace it with a traditional break beam style, but
What's the price on the units now? Something that has a little more sophistication?
you're talking a couple thousand, because you're talking about, you know, Wi-Fi, all that stuff. Whereas, you know, with the traditional break beams.
So given that
Maybe
attendance is
600.
a kind of a big number for us to look at, so what do we do as the next step to do it?
To finish up getting quotes and move forward with it.
That'd be great. I mean, it's not my job, but I mean, I say that I think
Well,
that,
it's certainly something that can, for the future.
yeah, you can take a look at, because it's really kind of, this data is fantastic. But to have more of it helps the decision making.
Yeah, yep. And so with something like this, what it provides you is, you know, a real-time data as opposed to just a counter on the wall that says, well, you know, 200 people came in the building today. You don't know, was it at noon? Was it at, you know, closer to 5 o'clock, you know, nearing closing or something? And it'll really allow us to break down and see, you know, busier times, slower times.
That's happening too.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, great. I'd love to see it.
So, are with
Everything's starting to catch up. to it.
circulation, yeah, we're fast approaching pre-pandemic numbers, and you know, you can actually see that the green bars are our circulation for this year. And so, you know, our numbers are up pretty high compared to last year, and that's a nice thing. You know, the lockers have really taken off as well. People are really appreciating basically 24/7 access, and that's been nice. Yeah, you can see, I mean, our digital circulation is far outpaced in previous years, and
It's
that's
almost caught up to pandemic.
Yeah.
It's quite impressive.
so, you know, our digital circulation now, especially that we've brought in with the loss of Acorn TV a year ago now, that was a bit of a hit. People really appreciated that service. We brought in Canopy, and that's been very nice. You know, people who want either the great courses or criterion films, things like that. Again, just access to your library without needing to necessarily come into the physical building. So simply by virtue of having the card, people have access to all of these different digital services. And so for the folks who may not be able to get here during our regular hours, this provides them that access, either digital or through something like our lockers.
How's been the pickup on Canopy? Because it's on the website, you can click and download it. Do people truly understand it yet, do you think?
I think so, because people have gotten, you know, a lot of our patrons have been using the Hoopla service
Right.
for many years. And so Canopy, yes, of course, they're different services, but the, general use of it is a similar thing. So, you download the app, you put in your card number, create an account, and, you're there. All of the staff is familiar with it. Certainly the service desk staff has taken the time to learn it and set people up on the app. So
It's easy to use, it's really easy to use.
So if anybody ever needs any assistance, we're always there at the reference desk or wherever to help folks, walk through those apps, be it Hoopla, Canopy, Overdrive, or the library catalog Acorn app.
Funny thing is, I have a guy who's an expert in ancestry.com, but he couldn't figure out how to work Canopy. Now it's an older version, but the separation between, you're an expert in ancestry.com, yet this is difficult for you to work. I don't quite get it. He doesn't spend a lot of time on his phone or on an iPad. He spends almost on a PC all the time. So it was like instructing him, which I did, to put on his phone, connect up to his TV so he could watch on his TV. But it's funny that some of the people who have more difficulty goes back to like do the outreach, the Saturdays at the farm market, because it's surprising how many older people I've talked to who haven't taken advantage of a lot of this stuff, and then ones who utilize it most. Not the problem in the library, it's all there, but more outreach.
Outreach, knowledge.
Exactly. Thank you. It's a great program.
And the library will be closed now July and August on Sundays.
Correct.
So the lockers probably will get even greater use.
I'd like to think so, yeah. It's something that we've always traditionally done, closing on the Sundays during the summer. And as word spreads, so much of it is really just, when people put books on hold, just giving them the option to use the lockers. And so, and most people who have done curbside and transition right over to the lockers, no issue.
Well, it's also part of your summer program that you have to use it once.
Oh, yeah.
You have to use it once to get a point.
Well, you gotta get those raffle tickets.
I do.
Otherwise, how are you gonna win things to restaurants?
I do, you don't know. I got that email saying, okay, we're gonna pull today. I went, oh, gotta get the food finished.
One thing I
Board
will
members
say.
are not eligible.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's
I wasn't gonna break it down.
Bibliothation's Hoopla type service for audiobooks and all. that.
Overdrive, yes.
Yeah, Overdrive, well, is it?
Libby is the other.
Libby.
Yes.
I couldn't remember its name. I
So
know-
Overdrive is the company. The Overdrive app itself is now deprecated, and Libby has taken over as.
Okay, because I came through Bibliovation,
Yes.
but whatever.
Yes.
Okay, but I have to say, it has many more titles.
Mhm.
Audiobook is, the sound quality is much better. And it syncs with my, sync in my car. So
Yeah.
now I'm back to, because the CDs no longer work in my CD player.
Oh.
Because the software is upgraded, but the CDs haven't, and there's a conflict. So now with I was telling Megan this, so now with audiobooks, I have it on my phone
Yeah.
and it connects with the Bluetooth in my car. So now I'm back to listening to audiobooks as I travel.
Well, so many cars don't even come with CD changers
Yeah, I
anymore.
know.
Yeah. So,
I am familiar with the fact that they do not.
Yeah.
It's very disappointing.
it's interesting, but most computers don't come with them either.
No,
now.
they don't.
So, look, disc media, I think you're really looking at maximum of another decade.
But the nice thing about that Libby is that there's many more books available. Hoopla was getting to be very, very narrow and there wasn't anything I had not read.
Sure.
So.
Well, that's the nice thing about the Libby collection is not only does Bibliomation curate on the consortial level, but we also have access to curate on the individual level. And so we can purchase items as we request them, or we see that there's a lot of holes on the biblio copies and things like that. So we can we can purchase, like I say, individual copies that are solely for the Bethel residents as well, as opposed to, like I say, on the consortial level. And that's a nice way to sort of round out our collection, provide more access to patrons and get them on and using the well.
And all through that, so that was really great. Very exciting. So, okay, without going into it,
On the digital side, is it possible to get newspapers like Wall Street Journal or Danbury News Times through the website, like just log on, and actually get the newspaper? 'Cause I haven't seen it.
Connecticut
So
What's the pricing on that? How does that work? Some of the libraries have, you can log on and get the New York
So we have
Times.
New York Times direct access through the library. The News Times themselves do not offer that service.
Okay.
They don't offer, because right now, if you click on it, you can probably read one, maybe two articles a day on the News Times, and then they put you behind the paywall.
Yeah.
They don't have a corporate account, at least last time I spoke.
But you can get it through the Connecticut.
So through the Connecticut
Because that's
State
how I asked.
Library, I would highly recommend that anyone
So
who.
So you can
Directly
get
to
a
the state
Connecticut, you
library.
can get a Connecticut State Library
I
card.
have that. I just haven't
Okay.
looked through it. Okay. that
And
has-
you can get the Danbury News Times and a whole bunch of other newspapers. You can
I
get
just didn't see it.
Connecticut. You gotta really
You
dig.
dig through it a little bit, John. I can show
You
you.
really have to dig, trust me.
We are also getting Wall Street Journal and Barron's back in as print media, starting in July. That'll be a nice thing. And Wall Street Journal does have a digital access code very similar to the way that New York Times works. We haven't investigated that as an option yet. But
I don't know how many people, I mean, I get it, but I don't know how many people are actually interested in that.
the New York Times one is used very frequently. Our numbers are always in at least the hundreds.
And after we pay for that through state of Connecticut?
No, we pay New York Times direct.
Okay.
There's a discount because they have a CLC buy-in contract, or Nation, one of them, they have a contract with, and, so we get a slight discount on that, but realistically, you're not looking at the cost for, because if you were to redeem a ticket to use the New York Times service, I think you get it for a week, it's either 5 days or a week. And you can just read the New York Times, and then you just log back into our website, hit redeem again, it renews you for another 5 days or a week, and you can just keep reading it. And the hit to us is minimal. So it's always a nice service to offer to people, especially we started that back when the building was still closed, and I think we were just a computer lab in here at that time.
Cool. Thank you.
Okay, any other questions, concerns? Robin, are you still with us?
Here.
Anything, any questions or concerns?
No.
Okay, good to see you. I'd just like to remind everybody, last month we talked a little bit about the farmer's market and setting something up, probably with July, I think Megan was thinking, so think about it, and if it's anything you would want to volunteer for on Saturdays, just let Megan know. You know, awareness of the library, a library card, library information.
No, I can do week in July and a week in August, but they need to know a schedule. Once a
Well,
month.
then talk to her
I'll
about it.
send it
She's
to
gonna,
you.
after she comes back, she's gonna try to set it up, but I don't wanna wait until the July meeting.
Already open.
It is open.
Saturday.
That's Rob. He's been there for a month.
Yes. When did it open?
May.
Yeah, the other day.
No, I think that'd be great to be able to talk to
We'll be open
people. and
until
explain
December.
what it is.
Yeah, we're hoping to be able to staff it with volunteers.
That's great, great idea.
Well, it's nice to have a presence on something.
Mary, on the numbers of what's spent, just ask the question, So if you look through the numbers of like the budget, and what we've bought for adult books and so forth, there seems to be, if there's a big spend gonna come through, we're at the end of the fiscal year. So when June comes, which is the end of the fiscal year, look at the percentage that's been spent, say, on adult books and other stuff. It's in the 70s, 60s, and some of that stuff. So
We
do we
are
have to
going-
use it or lose it? I
Yes,
guess
we
that's-
do, and we are going to be turning money back, and Megan will be, and Tia will be reporting on it next month. It just is reality, we had to turn money back. We had so much staff money that we didn't use this year.
Yeah.
We spent what we needed to spend. We need to be realistic as taxpayers and supporting
Yeah,
the
I
town
just-
government.
One of the.
So it
other
is use
things,
it or
though,
lose it, right?
It is a user.
Okay.
It goes back into the general fund.
That's what I didn't know.
And just so everybody knows, I mean, one of the things that we have encountered, not unlike anybody else, even for some of our grant things, is that, supply chain issues.
Right.
So, right? I mean, we, things that we thought were gonna take 12 weeks came in 2. Things that we thought were gonna come overnight are 12 weeks out. So, the same thing with different books and different materials and stuff. So, you know, it's been very challenging. We tried to do as many things as we could, but some things were a little beyond us.
Also, the thing I'm unclear on, so do patrons request books that they want and so forth? Is that available just, I don't
Yes.
know the procedure, that's all.
It's online.
It's all online?
Yeah,
No, you
or you can do it here.
No, you
Yeah.
can call up
Yeah.
and speak with somebody or come in, or you can do it online, and it doesn't take very long for something to get.
Do we get many requests?
Oh, I've done it twice.
Successfully.
Yeah, yeah.
It ebbs and flows, I think.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it, right, you know, people will hear about a new book coming out
Right.
or what have you. And they'll contact us. I mean, I've gotten emails almost nearly a year in advance of a book being published. But if it's by someone like, escaping me right now. And I'm sorry.
Patterson.
Not even Patterson, but the guys who are writing, you know, the 1776.
Oh, Malcolm Gladwell. Oh,
Sure.
no.
But whatever, one of those, right?
Yeah.
Where they're working on these things for so long and you're expecting them, so you hear about them, you know, a year or so in advance, you know, I'll get the thing. It may not even be available from my supplier as like something I could even purchase and download, just to have a little placeholder record in there. And, you know, so I'll just keep those to the side and, you know, as they become.
On the
available.
bestsellers, do we still have this restriction where we can only buy one copy? Are they limiting copies on bestsellers to libraries now?
No,
No.
no, I can get multiple copies. That's simply a matter of, yeah.
The amount of time, the days is what is. the
Publishers are behind.
Yeah, delivery.
Well, no, and also how long we can have.
Well, they're not publishing as many books now.
Correct.
So you might think that there would be 10,000 of Patterson's books. Well, they cut it down to 5,000 or something to that effect. There's not that many being
That's the
printed.
chain.
Well, they're trying to get back into the groove. All the
So many people are shifting onto digital
Yeah.
Right.
formats. And I think that's part of it too, because we aren't quite sure, you know, how much of it is gonna be hard paper. Because a lot of, you know, as our bookseller knows, you get a million of the same things. and
How
many shades of gray can you have? Apparently a lot of shades of gray. But in all seriousness.
We need executive session.
Yeah, and that is one of the things that they're really trying to do, and we're really trying to look at, you know, we talked about this when we're doing our budgeting.
Yeah.
You know, our initial budget cuts and things before we have the big meeting is like, how much do we think is gonna be digital? How much do we think is gonna be digital adult? How much this, how much that? And it's tricky right now to figure out the
Yeah.
categories. But luckily for us, you know, we can move money from one category to another.
I have to say, the staff picks out really good books. Like you don't really, like if you're looking for something, it's already there. You don't have to worry about it. Or you can get it from another library.
Yeah, I mean, I borrow digital library all the time.
Yeah.
So that's what I do.
which is wonderful.
Yeah,
it's
That's
wonderful.
exactly
amazing.
right.
You don't
It
need a
just- it
copy.
just-
Right.
It's not there, it's just information and user concepts. So,
Yeah.
absolutely. Thank you.
Except while library makes a lot of sense.
Well, and then Simsbury Library isn't even on our Nation, they're on a different
Correct.
system, they said.
So there's a number of libraries, the Illumination is about 90 libraries, but maybe 70 something, low 80s of them are actually public libraries. And they've got seminary libraries, the Coast Guard Library, I think joined theirs. A couple of school libraries are on there. So there's a number of libraries that we don't actually even have access to technically, but they are part of the consortia. It's a nice thing though, to be able to simply just hit the consortia button and see, oh, Richfield has it, or, worse off, Litchfield has it, and so I can just put it on request and it'll come. If you're able to, fine, drive over to Richfield or maybe Easton or something, and that's still a nice thing, but there's simply the Connecticut system as well, so if you want to, you can borrow from technically any public library in the state with your hometown card. And that's a great feature as well, or, again, us just contacting West Hartford or whoever happens to have the item, getting it in there.
Thank you, Tom. Any other issues? Any new issues? Motion to adjourn? Eric,
Yes.
Judy, and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Thank you so